Hey everybody, Robert Wolfert here. Welcome to the next video of the series Random Linux Tools Explained. Yeah, I'm Robert Wolfert, and as always I want to explain Linux command line tools. Linux command line tools you can use for a day-to-day work at the Linux command line, and as always I'm not prepared at all. Yeah, instead I will get a randomly selected tool and I will try my best, or I will do my best to explain this randomly selected tool for you. I will show you how you can use this tool, what this tool is used for, and if there are some things worth mentioning around this tool from my experience. So let's directly dive in by sharing my screen and selecting a tool. So let's share my screen. You should see it now. Here we are. And again, I have my tools directory. Within the tools directory, I have the file tools.txt where all the tools are listed. I have some files here. Let's remove them from a previous session. The files. Yes. Okay. So now I'm ready. Now I'm prepared to get a randomly selected tool. Yeah. Tools.txt and my script choose tool.sh. So let's start the tool and let's begin. Choose tool.sh. Mixing the tools. And the winner is shuf. Okay, shuf. Shuf is a tool I have used for this script. Yeah, shuf is a tool I've used for this script to randomly shuffle a list of elements, to randomly shuffle a list of tools in this example. So let's make my head a little bit smaller and my screen a little bit bigger. I hope you can see it as well. And if there is somewhere a problem, please let me know within the chat. And I want to leverage a cool feature here from my streaming software. I have a banner that can be shown here. And for the guys who join in later, let's tell them what we are just talking about. We are just talking about tool on stage. Now is the tool shuf. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the tool shuf. The tool shuf is a tool to shuffle some elements, to shuffle parameters, words, lines, and so on. Yeah, to randomize something. This is the purpose of the shuf tool. So let's have a look at the help output of the shuf command. Okay, and what you see is you can call the shuf command with a file or with a list of arguments, and then the shuf tool will randomize the lines of the file, or it will randomize the command line options you give it. Yeah. If you want to use command line options, you have to use the -e command line option, and if you want to shuffle the lines from a file, then just append the file. Let's try this out. Let's say we have a file with names.txt, and let's say I write some names in here. Max, for instance, John, for instance, Mary, and let's say Frida. So these are 4 names, 4 lines within the file name.txt. So, and now let's shuffle these lines. Let's shuffle these lines, shuf, and now the name of the file, shuf name.txt, and what you see is the output in a different order. Yeah, first Frida, then Max, then Mary, then John. And let's do this again. Max, John, Frida, Mary. Again, Max, Mary, Frida, John, and so on. Yeah, you see, shuf really shuffles, randomizes the lines of the file, of the given file. If you don't have the things you want to shuffle, you want to randomize within a file, yeah, you can instead use command line options for the shuf command that should be randomized. And for this, you need to add the -e command line switch. The -e command line switch, yeah, tells the shuf command, please use A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the command line parameters appended after the -e switch, yeah, and shuffle them. And what you see is F, C, E, D, G, B, A, and again F, D, G, A, B, and so on, yeah, always randomized. So shuf can be used to randomize something, yeah, to randomize lines from a file or to randomize command line options. If you want to choose one single random option, then you can tell the shuf command, so I don't know this directly, but the halt shows me. The halt shows me that I will want to see only n lines. I want to see only one line, for instance. So let's take this and let's say I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I want to see only one single line. And you'll see this time there was an E chosen, this time again an E, now a C, now an E. Oh, okay, not really randomly. Okay, and G, and so on. Yeah, so this is the way shuf works. And if the same goes if working with a file, yeah, shuf -n1, and now let's see, I have the file name.txt, and we'll get Max, we'll get John, we'll get Max, we'll get Frida, we'll get Max, we'll get Mary, and so on. Yeah. Okay. So shuf can be used to randomize lines of a file, command line options. Shuf can be used to choose only one of these or a given number of these randomized options or lines. And you can use shuf to choose a random number if you want to. Yeah, you can simply, let's go back. Instead of giving a file or instead of giving command line arguments, you can give a range. You can give a range of numbers from low to high. Shuf shall choose from or select from. Yeah. So if I just need a number between, let's scroll back again. Okay, a number between 1 and 10, for instance, and I want to see only one single number, I could use shuf in this way. Yeah, so this is the range shuf shall use from, and this is the number of results I want to see. Yeah. If I don't add the -n1 parameter here, I'll get every number from lower bound to the upper bound in a randomized order. Yeah, so this is the way shuf works. Okay, if you call shuf without any command line options, then shuf will shuffle the input data stream. So there is nothing connected to the input data stream. So my keyboard input will go straight to the shuf command for this. Yeah, so this is the first line, this is the second line, this is the third one, and so on. Yeah, and now if I add the input for the shuffle command, for the shuf command, yeah, I can do this by hitting Control D, not hitting Control C. Control C would terminate the shuf command, yeah, but hitting Control D sends an end of file, and now shuf knows that input is ready, and then the shuf will print out the randomized read in lines. These were the lines, yeah, the 6 lines here, and then the randomized output here. Okay, this was the tool shuf. Yeah, every time if you need something random from a given list, from a given list within a file, from a given list, from command line options, yeah, use the shuf command. Okay, let's go on to the next tool. Let's go on to the next tool. CD tools. Let's clear the screen and let's choose another one. Choose tool, .sh, mixing the tools. Shuf will be run here multiple times, and the winner is now halt. Okay, halt is the tool to end everything, yeah, to shut down the system. Okay, tool on stage now is the tool halt. So what can you do with halt? You can shut down the system. If I call halt, then the system will go down. I don't want the system go down. Yeah, I want to stream it a little bit more. For halting a system, for shutting down a system, you need root permissions. So halt won't work if I call it this way. Yeah, then halt won't be work. Instead, I need to use sudo, yeah, to run the halt command. What you see is here that halt has some built-in voodoo, but not on every system, really not on every system. Here on this system, halt has implemented or has added some voodoo that prevents you from halting a system where a user is logged in. Yeah, so I have logged in to the system as a user Wolfhard and then switch to the user Robert for a demonstration and so on. Yeah, but I have here 2 login shells, and halt won't shut down my system. Typically, if you have multiple users on a system, users on a system and you want to reboot the system, or you want to halt the system, shut down for maintenance, for instance, then you will typically use the tool shutdown. Yeah. Again, halt is for shutting down the system and switching it off. If you just want to reboot, yeah, then you can use the tool reboot for this. So, but these 2 tools will instantly reboot the system. Yeah. So if users are working on a system currently while you're rebooting the system, then they will perhaps lose their work. Yeah. So typically, if you have multiple users on a system, then you use the tool shutdown. The tool shutdown gives you the option to delay the shutdown or to delay the reboot for a time frame, let's say for 15 minutes. And you can send a message to every user logged into the system so that he knows in 15 minutes the system is going down, for instance. Yeah. So if you call shutdown without with an H command line switch, the system will halt. This stands for halt. Yeah. If you call instead the shutdown with -R, it stands for reboot. Yeah. And if you don't have any of these two command line switches, then shutdown will drive your system into a maintenance mode, into a single user mode, where you are the only one able to work on the system. Yeah, only root can work on the system in this scenario. Okay, shutdown -H or for halt or -R for reboot. And then you can, let's say I want to reboot the system, yeah, and I can say I want to reboot in 15 minutes. I could write it this way if I remember correctly. Yeah, I want to reboot in 15 minutes, and then I can give a message. I can give a message to all the users who are currently logged in. Yeah, and the message could be system will reboot, available again shortly. Yeah, so I call this shutdown. I call this now via the sudo command, and what you see here is I will get on my console, on my terminal, a message. The system, the shutdown is scheduled for, yeah, and I can cancel this with shutdown -C. Let's have a look at a different console. I have a different console open here. Let's have a look at this console, and what you see is here is a logged in user, and this user gets a broadcast message from root at demo, and the broadcast message is the system will reboot and available again shortly. This is the message. This is the message I have given to the shutdown command. Yeah, and shutdown. The system will reboot in 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes from now is really 9:25 a.m. here. Yeah, okay. So let's cancel the shutdown. Let's cancel the shutdown with sudo shutdown -C. Yeah, okay. And you'll see every user on the system again gets a message: the system shutdown has been cancelled. And because we see here some broadcast messages, there is a great way you can send these broadcast messages to, only these broadcast messages, without the need for rebooting the system. And the tool for this is the tool wall. You can use the wall tool to send such broadcast messages. Yeah, if you want to, you can write echo hello all pipe wall. Yeah, the wall command will read the data or the message to send from the standard input data stream, and let's give it this input data stream via the echo command. Yeah, and now you see everyone on the system, me too, and here again gets this message hello all. Yeah, this is the wall tool, just to give you an information, yeah, what mechanics are used by the reboot tool. Yeah, so we have talked about now the halt command, we have talked about the reboot command. Let's say if there are some questions within this chat. No, the halt command, the reboot command, the better tool if you are not the only one on the system is shutdown -H or -R plus, and then the minutes you want to wait, and if you want to, you give a message to. Yeah. Okay, so this is the tool halt explained. Okay, we are only 21 minutes online in the stream. Let's choose a third tool. Yeah, let's choose a third tool. Let's clear the screen and choose tool.sh. Mixing the tools. And now the winner is Touch. Okay, Touch is a tool I typically use for testing permission things. For testing if I have permissions to write something within a directory. Yeah. The tool Touch. Wait a moment, please. Edit my banner here. On stage now is the Touch command. So the tool Touch is a tool that is used typically for touching a file. And touching a file means we will update the timestamps associated with a file. Yeah? Every file has timestamps associated with it. Let's take this file name.txt. Oh, let's rename this file. It contains names. So, okay. Let's have a look at the file names.txt. ls-l. Yeah, you see here the modification time of the file. The modification time of the file is one of 3 timestamps available for the file. You can see other or 2 different timestamps here too. You can see the timestamp, change time. C time is the change time. This is the change time of the file. And then you can see the access time of the file. Yeah? And if you don't add -- time equals to something, then you will see the modification time. Yeah, so the modification time of a file shows you when the content of the file, these 20 bytes here, all the names within the file. The timestamp, the modification time, shows you when this content has been changed, updated last time. Yeah, was 9:14. The access time shows you when somewhere has opened the file for the last time to access the content. Yeah. Doesn't matter if he has opened the file for reading or for writing. If he reads the file, then the access timestamp will be updated. If he opens the file for writing, then the access timestamp will be updated too, and so will the modification timestamp. And we have the C time. The C time is the change time. And the change time says when was the last time when the meta information of the file has changed. The properties. Yeah? The properties are the name. The properties are the ownership. The properties are the permissions. Yeah? And I have renamed the file. I have created the file at 9:14. Yeah? And then I have renamed the file some minutes ago at 9:30. So the change time is 9:30. The access time is 9:14. Yeah. And the modification time is 9:14 too. Now let's update the access time so that we have 3 different timestamps here. Let's read the file. Let's print it out via cat, for instance. And now let's have a look if the access time has changed. And great, it changed. Yeah. So we have modified the file 9:30. We have we have modified the file last time 9:14. We have modified its properties. We have renamed it at 9:30, and we have accessed it last time at 9:33. So you have 3 timestamps, and via the touch command you can access or update. You can update these 3 timestamps, and typically you call touch only with the file name, only with the name of the file. And now I have updated all these 3 timestamps at once. So ls-l names.txt --time equals ctime --time equals ctime and --time equals atime. All 3 timestamps are set to 9:34, which was the time where I have called the touch command. So touch command will be used typically to set all 3 timestamps of a file to the current time. If you want to, you can choose what timestamp to set. Touch --help. You see, you can say that you want to change only the access time, that you want to change only the modification time, or that you want to change only where is the access time. Then we have the modification time, and where is the change time? Okay, I don't see the change time here with an output. But you see, you can set or you can choose which timestamp to set. You don't need to set the timestamp to the current time. If you want to, you can give a string. You can give a string that contains a date and the time. You want to set the current or the timestamps to instead of the current time, and you can take a reference file. And this is a cool way to let your files within a directory look cool if you want to. So I have here names.txt, and let's create a new file. Let's create a file etc passvd into the current directory. Now you see 3 different files or directories and 3 different timestamps. And now I can, if I want to, touch all these files, and I can say I want to have a reference time from a reference file. So let's take as a reference the directory tools, and let's set all the timestamps for all the files like the timestamp is set for the directory tools for this reference directory. And now let's have a look. Looks cool. Okay, so this is the way touch works to set simple timestamps. If you want to, or if you want to or try to touch a file name or a file that doesn't exist, then touch will create this file for you. So you can use this simply to test if you have write permissions within a directory. So I'm currently logged in as the user Robert here. I am currently within my home directory, within home Robert, and then I try to touch a file, and the file hasn't existed before touching it. So touch has created the file test1 for me with a size of 0, and it has the current timestamp, of course. So touch can be used to create empty test files. Let's try to create a file within TMP, test123. Great, works, no error message, and therefore I know it has worked out. Yeah, ls-l shows me there's the file. Let's try if I have access, for instance, within the root directory. No, doesn't work. If I have access to the etc directory, no, it doesn't work. The error message here says no such file directory. And it says that because test by default wants to touch a file, wants to update the timestamp of a file. Yeah? There isn't an error message. You don't have permissions to do this. Yeah? But in this way, you can really easy test if you have write permissions into a directory. I can try this out via the sudo command, yeah, with root permissions. Yeah, sudo touch test 1 2 3. Okay, so now I have the error message. Oh, okay. Sorry. I see. I have called ls-l temp test 1 2 3. Yeah, my goal was to show you the touch won't work. So touch etc 1 2 3 permission denied. Touch root 1 2 3 permission denied. Yeah, but if I do this as root via sudo, then it works out. Let's have a look into the root directory, and you see test 1 2 3 is created with the current timestamp. Yeah. Touch is typically used for doing such tests, and touch can be used, for instance, to memorize, to remember a timestamp for later time. Yeah. For instance, if you think about doing a backup, and today I will do a backup. I want to copy all the files I have in the current directory to TMP wherever my backup destination is. Yeah, so I copy everything into a backup destination. I do not run this. Yeah, I just hit Control-C just to show you how it could work. Yeah. And then tomorrow I want to do a backup for everything that has changed since my last backup. Yeah, so I need to remember the time where I did my last backup, and therefore I can use the touch command. Yeah, for this I can use the touch command. Let's call the file last backup. Yeah, and typically you will do it this way: touch last backup, then you copy everything, or you back up everything. Yeah, I don't really do this here, but tomorrow I will do something like that. I will use the find command that can search for everything that is newer than a reference file. And I can search for files newer than last backup. Yeah, and what you see is nothing. Yeah, if you have a new file, let's copy a file. Let's copy the etc profile into the current directory. Yeah, and now it is tomorrow. So my find command will find everything that is newer, that has changed since the last backup. I can do anything now to back up this newly created file, and then I do a touch last backup again. Yeah, and next day I try to find newer files. Nothing is found. Yeah, but if somehow a different file is copied within the current directory, yeah, will find these changes, and then we can do the backup again. Yeah, so this is also a really often used use case, yeah, for the touch command to just remember the time where action was last accessed, or an action was last executed. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. This, I think, was it for today. All the tools here I have, all the tools I have within the tools directory, within this file tools.txt are tools taken from my book, The Shell Toolbox. If you're interested, have a look into the Shell Toolbox. Go to shelltoolbox.com. There you can get my ebook for free plus shipping. Have a look into the Shell Toolbox if you're interested in. Thank you for watching. See you next time.